Hey guys, I'm here just going to do my second lesson, part 2 of chords in C major. Okay, so last time we talked about C, and we talked about F, and we also talked about G, and they were all major chords. Now we're going to talk about D minor, E minor, and A minor, D minor, E minor, and A minor, which are the minor chords, and we're also going to talk about another chord which is B diminished, which is kind of a pretty crazy sound, and that's going to be the 7th chord. Okay, so that makes 7 chords. Okay, which are all the scale degrees. The first chord is D minor. You're not going to play the top 2 strings, the 6th string and the 5th string. You are going to play the open D, and then you're going to have these 3 notes here, so 3 fretted notes. You're going to put your first finger on the 1st fret of the 1st string. You'll put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, kind of like that. Make sure to use good technique. Claw it if you need. Claw it as much as you can, and go ahead and strum it. Okay. Make sure, again, to play each of the notes with your right hand, you know, with your thumb if you want, or with your fingers. So make sure you have good clearance, okay? So you practice, okay? And that's G minor, okay? We denote that with a lowercase 2 here. The 2 is because it's the 2nd chord in the scale, and it's lowercase because it's minor. You'll notice that in our previous lesson we had an uppercase 1, 4, and 5, excuse me, for the Roman numeral, and uppercase would denote a major chord, okay? The next chord we have is an E minor. It's going to have all 6 strings. The low E is going to be open. The A and the D are going to be 2nd fret, and the last 3 strings, the G, B, and E, are all going to be open. Okay, so you can use 2 fingers. If you want to use your first 2 fingers, you can to fret the 2nd frets if you want. If you want to do that. Okay, I typically tend to use the 2nd and the 3rd finger, like this. And there's a reason for that. Sometimes when I'm playing a different chord, which is a major chord, I want to put my other finger here, so I'm gonna, okay, which would be an E major. Okay, so you know, I would recommend doing that. Okay, and then you just put those 2 frets on 2nd fret of the 5th string and 2nd fret of the 4th string. Strum everything. Make sure you have clearance, good claw technique, and you're good to go. Okay. And that's going to be denoted at Roman numeral 3, 3rd chord in the progression. Next we have A minor, which is going to not play the low E string. You're going to play an open A, and then you're going to fret these 3 notes. This note is going to be a E, this note is going to be another A, and this note here is going to be a high C, and that's going to be a high E, okay, which you're going to play the high E open. Go ahead and put your index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and you put your 2nd and 3rd fingers, your middle and ring fingers, on the 2nd frets of the 4th and 3rd strings respectively, just like that, if you can see it. And then you gonna, again, okay, play each note separately, get good clearance, and it sounds really good, okay? You'll notice that D minor, E minor, and A minor, these actually, they have kind of a sad sound. So they're very sad sounding chords as opposed to the major chords, which generally sound very happy. Okay. The very last one we have is a B diminished, which is the 7th chord in your C scale. C major scale. We start on C. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And the 7th scale degree is special because it's neither major nor minor. It's what is called diminished. Okay. So we're going to take. We're not going to play the low E or the high E. We're going to take your first finger and put on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. You're going to take your 2nd finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So it's kind of like this. You can see it. Okay. And you're going to take your 3rd finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. And you're going to take your pinky and you're going to take it on, put it on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. So it's just sort of like a really crazy clawing kind of motion. If you look at the chord shape, it makes this kind of like V, right? Like a check mark, okay? So, and you do that, and then make sure you have good claw hand clearance, and then ahead and show you the. Okay. The 7th chord resolves very strongly to the 1 chord. So if you play this chord, pretty much it's always going to go to the 1 chord, okay, because of the music theory, which I can talk to you about in a different lesson. So again, we have D minor, we have E minor, we have A minor, we have B diminished, and I can't leave you hanging, so okay, good. Practice makes perfect. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.